What are your favorite horror movies from the 2000s? Which ones are seared into your memory? And the ones that are not worth the gray matter? So assume the position as we explore forgotten horror films from the 2000s. Jason X. Okay, the 10th installment of the Friday the 13th series is something else. Jason is in cryogenic freeze. Rowan LaFontaine is the scientist who oversees him until Dr. Wimmer, portrayed by David Cronenberg of all people, arrives to take custody of Jason for experimentation. Not if Jason has anything to say in the splatter. He thaws out and bludgeons Wimmer and the troops in mere seconds. Rowan escapes. She lures Jason into the cryogenic chamber and is stabbed by Jason, which causes the accidental activation of the system. 445 years later, students on a field trip visit the dead Earth and discover Jason and Rowan in the facility. They bring him back to their ship, the Grendel. Rowan is revived successfully. Jason does the same, on his own, on the autopsy table. Adrienne bides her time, fiddling with a space-age microscope. Jason makes her dunk for apples in liquid nitrogen and then shatters her face. The crew, who aren't interesting enough to remember by name, are SOOL and start dropping like flies. One of them tries to escape in the shuttle, but she panics and rams it into the ship's belly. And why is it that people in the future are this inept? The only character that's relatable is Sergeant Brodsky.
It's gonna take more than a poke in the ribs to put down this old dog. Yeah, that ought to do it.
The fembot KM-14 slaps Jason around. While the team regroups, Jason is modified by nanobots and becomes the Slashinator. And it's common knowledge that anyone with Nader in their name is indestructible. KM-14 gets her head punched off in round 2. With the crew's secret weapon out of commission, the crew again is SOOL. They try to stall Jason with their holographic technology by recreating Camp Crystal Lake. They treat us with a nice homage to the classic sleeping bag kill. Except for a couple of outstanding kills, Jason X is a rather unterrifying addition to the filmography, even with its 25 kills. The sets are unconvincing, the cast looks like they're Dawson Creek rejects, and the rather inane space-age left turn that they introduce with Jason being some kind of cyborg monster killer of the future, I didn't buy it. And even though I didn't like it, let me know what you think in the comments. Is Jason X a dud? Dog Soldiers. Do you like dogs? You'll probably change your opinion after watching Dog Soldiers. Dog Soldiers beefs up every known werewolf trope there is. Set in the Scottish Highlands, a British unit is on a training maneuver. After the grisly camping horror setup, we open on Sergeant Cooper evading a group of men. Cooper is vying for a spot in the Special Forces, and he's a shoo-in if he can just follow Captain Ryan's one last command to shoot the unit's guard dog. He refuses and is unceremoniously returned to his unit. Ryan does the deed himself, and this is foreshadowing? 14 days later, we catch up with a unit of fast-quipping British soldiers. They're a tight unit. Their camaraderie is overt. Joe moans about missing the most important football match of his life.
This shite is totally born. The most important football match of my life is playing tonight, and I'm stuck up the backside of beyond without so much as a six-pack or a telly.
That first night, the lads chat around a campfire, swapping stories, when all of a sudden a mutilated dead cow is hurled at them, and now no one's getting any sleep. The next morning, they discover the remains of the SAS and a delirious Captain Ryan, who startles them at gunpoint, muttering cryptically. Cooper is vocal about Ryan's uniform. No insignia. He's totally incognito. And this chance reunion is too coincidental. However, this is all pushed to the back burner when they're attacked by ferocious beasts. Lycanthropes, or werewolves. The unit switches to live ammo and aggresses the hell out of there. Bruce is impaled and Sergeant Wells is eviscerated. Luckily, Megan, a random zoologist, picks them up. They drive to a secluded home and tend to the wounded and recruit. The werewolves quickly track them down and siege the house. And this is where the cast's performances absolutely shines. The dialogue between Wells, Cooper, Spoon, Joe, and Terry is spot on, realistic and filled with British colloquialism.
This is so f***ing bone.
What does bone mean?
Bone. Bollocks. No.
Not very good.
As the ammo runs low, the men resort to knives, pots, pans, fist fighting, impromptu flamethrowers. The battle scenes throughout are top-notch. Spoilers be ahead, thee be forewarned. The werewolves shred both vehicles, leaving the humans no choice but to fight for their lives in the barricaded house. If they were up against vampires, well, they could just wait them out until dawn. But, as impossible as it seems, the werewolves have to die. Further complicating the situation, Ryan and Wells have recovered miraculously, and it's revealed that they are hungry like the wolves too. Ryan is interrogated. He admits that the SAS's mission was to capture a werewolf for the government and use our heroes as the bait. Maybe Cooper's conflict with Ryan elected his unit for this suicide mission. We learn that Megan is also a legacy werewolf. She's on the soldier's side, though, and a reluctant member of the Lupin family, and she's stifled her transformation.
I chose you. Now you're out of luck, and I'm out of time.
But she does finally start to turn. In the process, she's put down with a bullet. While Wells is in the throes of his metamorphosis, he cuts the gas line to the stove, sacrifices himself, and blows up the werewolves. Ryan and Cooper and the dog survive the blast. Ryan plays with his food and flosses Cooper's teeth with a knife. Cooper finds the silver knife that was referenced from the top of the film, stabs Ryan, and finishes him off with a bullet between the eyes. Dog Soldiers presents something new in the werewolf movie arena. Just take Spoon's final words as an example.
I hope I give you the shits, you fucking wimp.
And seriously, do yourself a favor, check out this movie, it's really entertaining. The Midnight Meat Train. This butcher fest sits in the middle of the horror genre Goldilocks zone. It's not certified prime beef, but it's not cannery either. The Midnight Meat Train is a beautifully shot film, complemented by an outstanding cast and fitted with a conveyor belt of gore. Based on a Clive Barker short story of the same name, The Midnight Meat Train chronicles a New York street photographer, Leon, played by Bradley Cooper. In one of his earlier roles, Leon struggles to impress Susan, Brooke Shields, a prominent gallery owner, but she feels that he's not taking enough chances with his work. She urges Leon to follow the subject to the very end and capture the decisive moment. So he does just that by night crawling. Leon encounters a young lady being threatened by a gang. He intervenes, but not before snapping a few frames. The gang flees and the woman thanks him and leaves on a subway car. Meanwhile, an imposing man, Mahogany, played by Vinnie Jones,
Bonjour.
follows her into the car and clobbers her to death. The next morning, Leon and his girlfriend Maya, Leslie Bibb, read in the paper that the woman went missing. Leon's interest is piqued. He dives into researching similar subway disappearances and turns up the identity of the butcher, Mahogany. Next, he reports the girl's disappearance to Detective Hadley. Leon becomes consumed by this dark obsession and tries to catch Mahogany in the act on the subway. He finds much more than he bargained for. Mahogany dispatches his victims and hangs them on meat hooks like cattle. Leon and Mahogany square off, knocking Leon unconscious. He wakes up the following morning in a slaughterhouse with a cryptic symbol carved into his chest. And it would seem that all the needles have been threaded, so get ready for spoilers because there's really no way to continue without divulging them. The dark secret is that Mahogany has been in service to the train conductor and carnivorous monsters for 300 years. But an eternity of butchering hapless victims has taken its toll on Mahogany. He does have a bit of humanity left. Leon is the next in line on the murder train. After Maya is murdered before Leon's eyes, there's no turning back. Everyone down to Detective Hadley has been in on the secret, and Meat Train rolls on. So, what do you think? Is Remembering Jason X worth the gray matter? Do you agree that Dog Soldiers is one of the most exciting werewolf movies in decades? Is The Midnight Meat Train better than just okay? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. And as always, I will see you in the next one.